Hello, beautiful soul. I used to avoid mirrors, not because of how I looked, but because of what I was afraid I would feel. Have you ever done that? Looked in the mirror and quickly looked away, not because of what you saw, but because of what it brought up. The hardest person to face is the one you see every day. And something as simple as a mirror ended up changing everything for me. At that time, I was deep in personal development, trying to find my way back to myself. And somewhere along the way, I came across a piece of advice. I believe it was from a book called Simple Abundance, but I cannot be certain. The advice was simple. Look yourself in the eye for 10 seconds. And honestly, my first reaction was to laugh. 10 seconds? Who can't look in a mirror for 10 seconds? I looked in the mirror every single day, to brush my teeth, to put on my makeup, to fix my hair. Of course I could do 10 seconds. So one night, I tried it. I was brushing my teeth. I looked up, and within a second, I looked away, almost like it burned. And that is when it hit me. I looked in the mirror every day, but I had never once looked myself in the eyes. Not really. Not the way I was being asked to. And it freaking scared me. Everything I had been carrying, from years of what I had been through, it would not let me look. How dare I? Who did I think I was to deserve anything more than what I had accepted? That was the moment I realized how wounded I really was. And it was also the moment I started to understand the power of what I had been learning, how much guilt and trauma can weigh you down, how it can quietly take everything from you, your voice, your worth, even the ability to look yourself in the eye. Let me take you back to where it really started. I remember standing in the bathroom, staring at the sink, doing everything I could not to look up, because I knew if I looked in that mirror, I would feel everything. The guilt, the shame, the weight of my own decisions. We can lie to other people, but we cannot lie to ourselves. And I could not face the woman looking back at me. I did not hate what I saw. I hated how I felt about her. And if this feels familiar, if you struggle to look at yourself in the mirror and you don't even know why, you are not alone. But I kept trying. The next day, and the next, and the next. It was probably a week, maybe more, before those few seconds stopped feeling like pain. Day by day, week by week, I could look a little longer, not to brush my teeth, not to put on makeup, but just to stand there and look into my own eyes. It really does feel like you are looking into your soul. And I kept going, until one day, I did not look away. That was the moment everything started to change, but not in the way I expected. Not all at once, but something shifted. That was the moment I stopped seeing myself as someone broken and started seeing myself as someone healing. The woman in the mirror was never the enemy. She was someone who had been hurting, someone who had been carrying guilt and shame that were never meant to define her. And one day, I looked at myself and I smiled, not because everything was perfect, but because I finally saw myself with compassion. I am sharing this with you now, 25, 30 years later, and sometimes I am still amazed that there was a time I could not hold my own gaze for even a second, and how far I have come. That is my hope for you, that you are able to look in the mirror, even if you can only hold it for a few seconds, even if you look away. That's enough for today. If you struggle to look at yourself in the mirror, you are not alone. But maybe that is where your healing begins. That woman in the mirror, she survived, and she is still standing. Nothing around me changed, but everything inside me did. Tomorrow morning, give yourself 10 seconds. That is it. Not to fix anything, not to judge anything, just to stay. And if you look away, that is okay. Try again the next day. Don't give up. Keep going. Face yourself in the mirror And if this felt familiar, if something in you recognized this, then you already know. It's time to stop carrying voices that were never yours. That is exactly why I created my free Board of Directors guide. Because you get to choose who sits at the table in your mind. And you deserve voices that lift you, not ones that keep you small. The link is below. Start there, and start changing the damn record already. If this spoke to you, like this video so it reaches the woman who needs it next. Follow if you're ready to grow gently and honestly. Share this with your younger self, or someone who needs the reminder. You're not alone anymore. Let's grow together. Love and peace.